take that week?
I got some.
Good morning. I want to call the meeting to order. This is a special meeting, city council meeting. Today is Friday, March 29th. It's 9 a.m. We're in the Public Works building. Tammy, can you call the roll, please?
Okay, Mayor Miller,
Here.
Mr. Smith,
Here.
Ms. Hamilton.
Here.
Mr. Wolf,
Here.
and Mr. Welly is absent.
Mr. Welly resigned last week.
He didn't resign. He did not resign.
He said that was his last meeting.
Yeah, but he didn't formally resign.
But it really doesn't
No,
matter.
no,
We're only
he
3
didn't.
weeks from an
Yeah.
election, so. Okay.
I recall that on Facebook too, because he did
According to-
resign, and people called me asking about his resign, and he did resign.
Well, it's an explanation on there for my ordinance, so. Okay, so let's move forward. The first thing is our legal service, or our only thing is our legal service proposal. Mr. Sloan, can you hear us okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, so we have, we had put out just to catch everybody up, we had put out a RFQ. And I think it has, of our last meeting, had 2 that had come in. The council voted to extend that for 30 days. Mr. McCahill has resigned and
I'm
by
not
choice,
resigned, I'm letting my contract expire.
well, he said he would no longer extend his contract with the city, so his last day is the 31st on his contract. So we are in need of a city attorney. And I had talked with Mr. Sloan, who was with us via WebEx meeting, and he had agreed that he would be willing to come in and serve as an interim until we can get all, as many bids as we can for RFQ, so the council can make a well-informed decision on hiring someone to replace Mr. McCahill's position, and for us to actually get the best counsel, legal counsel for our city, I think we need more than 2 bids. Okay. So we also have this young lady at the front line. Her name's Michelle, but she didn't give me her last name.
It's Jordan.
Jordan. And she said that Chris says she has put in a RFQ. So we will, the council will talk with both of these candidates for the interim position today and make a decision, make a vote on that. Okay.
Madam Mayor, may I approach the podium?
Well, let me do it to the table first. Does anybody have anything they want to add to this discussion before we move on?
I'm just a little bit confused. I mean, we did the extension, correct?
Correct, we did.
30 days.
Correct,
We're here to see if we're gonna hire a temporary.
correct.
Okay. Is there another problem that we're not aware of with the next attorney that had an RFQ? Or what's?
No, there's no, we're
Why
gonna
why
talk
are we
about
talking
this.
to another lawyer?
Why are we talking to another one? I don't know if Mr. Hubbard brought her in.
I wouldn't say that I brought her in, it's just we've been in communication, and Ms. Jordan said that she was planning on being here today anyway.
Okay. Ms. Jordan, were you wanting to apply for the interim part?
May I approach?
Yes, you may.
I'm actually not here today to ask about being interviewed for the interim position.
Okay.
I'm
That was
here.
a misunderstanding, I apologize.
I'm here on my own. Mr. Hubbard did not ask me to come. I had reached out to him because I had questions after watching Tuesday night's meeting.
Okay.
So I'm here today to basically give you all the opportunity to course correct while there's still time. And I prefer to have this conversation before you proceed with interviewing Mr. Sloan if he's going to be considered for the permanent position.
Mhm.
I don't know if you all are very familiar with bid protest in that process, but there are some really significant issues with what happened on Tuesday, and I'd like the opportunity to address some of those if the council's willing.
I am.
Kim, go ahead.
So, of course, I can't give you legal advice, but generally speaking, there are no federal or state laws that require that you competitively procure legal services.
Right.
But you did undertake that process, and
Let me say, our ordinances say that we will get out anything greater than $15,000 for services.
so, again, generally speaking, once you've established a policy or procedure, as long as you continue to follow that policy or procedure, you're gonna be fine, whatever you do is defensible. But that's not what happened here, and I have some significant concerns as an applicant about my submission being fairly considered. It's highly, highly unusual, and Madam Mayor, I mean, no disrespect by this at all, but it's certainly unorthodox for an elected official, a person with power, such as the mayor, to circumvent the advertised public competitive procurement process by making a personal phone call to an attorney or any professional that had not submitted a proposal and admittedly didn't even know that the job existed as of Tuesday. And I'll tell you why. People in power, when they make requests of people who don't have power, are then put in a position that can be easily abused. So a concern that I have about the mayor reaching out personally to an attorney that wasn't involved at that time in this proposal process is that you've got other issues with the mayor's recall election. So this is a person in power who has now threats of losing their power. Again, reaching out personally to an individual that's not involved in the process, and now has potentially created a relationship with this professional where their advice in the future may be questioned. So from an outsider standpoint, it looks as though the mayor was looking for essentially a yes man or a person that she could turn to and say, when she doesn't like the advice that's being given, you didn't even know that this job existed, you wouldn't be here if I hadn't called you. And that might lead the person giving the
May I
advice.
ask you something? Are you assuming that Mr. Schlong did not know this, or have you spoke with Mr. Schlong?
I watched the video from Tuesday night,
Okay.
and
So I don't know if Mr. Schlong knew this position existed or not before I spoke with him.
he stated that he did not.
He did not, what he said.
Well, okay.
So this is
Any other?
a big red flag, and certainly an issue that that you all might have to address as a part of evaluating your bid process. So again, I have concerns that, and again, I don't mean this disrespectfully at all, Madam Mayor. I understand that you're a brand new mayor and you've had a tumultuous year so far. But you all also already are under contract with one of the best local government firms in the state of Florida, and that's Sniffen and Spellman. And so I certainly have questions about the need for interim services and why you didn't utilize a firm that you're already under contract with. And I'll tell you another red flag as an outside observer is that that's the firm that's defending the city against the mayor's lawsuit. And the mayor might therefore be inclined to not want to utilize their services generally.
That's the only,
Well,
is the lawsuit.
yeah, they're not under
with
contract.
anybody.
That's Miss,
They're just representing the city in that lawsuit.
Right, but I'm talking about as far as the availability of firms that are not participating in your RFP process. That there were other options. The optics here are not good at all. And
what?
the optics here.
Okay.
So like I said, as an outside observer, someone watching your meeting, I was stunned at the process that the council was willing to undertake. And I'm certainly confused as to why the mayor unilaterally determined that the RFP process should not be followed.
Okay, let me stop you there, okay? First off, I didn't unilaterally stop the process. We voted as a group, as a council, to not stop the process, we extended the process. As council.
But after you called him to come in and he talked to us. After
Okay.
that, after the fact.
All right. Let her finish, okay? So, go ahead.
Let her finish.
Please.
But you the one interrupted, not me. Sorry, Shelley.
You're interrupting everybody,
No,
so.
I'm not interrupting nobody.
Excuse me.
I have just as much right
Point of order,
to,
please.
to talk as you do.
Jesus, help us.
I want you to help us. Ma'am, I apologize for letting you interrupt you. I'd like for you to finish what you had to say.
So
That's what I said.
what happened on Tuesday has materially changed your competitive process. You've introduced an outside individual, and I mean, no disrespect to Mr. Sloan, he's an excellent attorney, very qualified, there's no question about that. The questions are really about the conditions that have been created because your mayor stepped out of the defined boundaries, right? Ethics aren't morals, ethics are boundaries, and part of your ethics code that you're expected to follow is once you've established these processes, once you've established this, competitive mechanism, you've established through this policy how you're going to evaluate proposals. Once you've stepped outside of this, and again, this is just the outside optics, it looks very suspicious that a mayor who is under fire, under a recall election, wants a personally chosen attorney to serve in this position. This is just an outside person. I don't have any relation to Mexico Beach. I've never been involved in your government before, but I certainly have done my research before I submitted my proposal. And I don't want to discuss my proposal today. My proposal is still sealed. I'm here today, like I said, to give you all the opportunity to course correct and consider the additional consequences of Tuesday's meeting. And this process, unfortunately, may be corrected to the point that you really can't go forward the way that you are now. You may need to consider whether Mr. Sloan should be disqualified from the permanent position because of his potential inability, due to an ethical conflict, to give unbiased legal advice to the council. So in the event that there were a question, in the event that myself or another applicant raised a bid protest, but Mr. Sloan is also a candidate for the permanent position, he ethically couldn't give you advice.
To my knowledge, he has not put in an RFP.
He does still have 30 days to submit,
Yes,
though.
ma'am.
This is the concern that I have. I mean, there are checklists of topics that can be raised in a bid protest, and we are hitting multiple of these checks. And so, like I said, I'm here today just to bring these issues to light. Again, I don't want to discuss my own proposal for the permanent position, but to hopefully give you all the opportunity to thoughtfully consider what has happened and what needs to happen going forward to ensure that not only the applicants, but also that the public can be confident in your hiring process.
That's it. Thank you so much. Okay. Well, I will want to ask, are you interested in the interim position?
I don't think it would be appropriate for me to apply for the interim position because of the issues that I've raised in the position that I might have to take.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let me, just for clarification, Florida law. In the absence of public policy established by, forbidden by law, in the state or federal constitution, or in the state statute, including the charter of the city, the determination of whether or not a local bid performance, such as given by above ordinance, which I didn't read, but if depending on the provisions of placing in each local preference ordinance will be determined if it's of its legalities, is what that says. Okay, so in the above ordinance, is or is not. In the best interest of the city is a purely legislative decision to be made by the legislative branch of the city by ordinance and should not be overturned by any judicial branch, okay? So as I go down, I just want to point out a couple of things real quickly. First, in our actual bid, it says, the city reserves the right to continue to receive proposals after the due date if none of the original submitted proposals are acceptable, and to select from proposals submitted after the due date. Documents can be mailed or hand delivered. And that's actually in the bid ordinance, the bid that we sent out. So, the council as a whole did vote to extend because
I think that's based on you've reviewed the proposals and you don't want either one of them, then you can extend it.
well, I think we can extend it as a council, if we have that right, as a council. And did you not vote to extend it, Mr. Wolf?
I never said I didn't.
Okay.
It was a 5-0 vote.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. In acceptance of competitive bids may be approved by city, or by council majority vote for good and/or services, and this is on our ordinance, sorry, services needed to address an emergency. For single source outlets without another unit of government or a one-time option. And it goes on to say that we can piggyback off the public, off of the contract under the procurement of our Florida laws within 365 days. So that means, what that means is, like, we could have went to Bay County and somebody else had a bid already in and it worked, we could use those bids. Says, where the best interest of the citizens of the city require it after unsuccessful attempts of competitive bids. I'd say when you get 2 bids for something, that's really not a big success. I really felt that we needed to, it was an emergency, and it does say that we can address this as an emergency, because we are just within a couple of days of not having a city attorney. So, as far as interim, this was done when Mr. McCahill came in. He came in as an interim. He had a 6-month interim contract. I don't feel like, I didn't see like this was unusual from what I had seen on December 14th, 2021 meeting when Mr. McCahill was brought in.
I'll tell you, there's one difference.
Mhm.
And that is, I was hired under an emergency 6-month contract, and then the RFQ went out.
Mhm.
It wasn't, the RFQ went out, and then I was hired on an intern basis.
Yeah.
That's just making clarification, it's not.
That's fine, but at the same time, we extended that RFQ because of only 2 bids as of the meeting date.
Yeah, I'm just telling you the difference between this situation and mine, that's all. There was no RFQ when I was hired.
I would think that an RFQ would be more important than
I'm just,
getting it out.
I'm not making
I don't
any,
understand why before they did not send out an RFQ. They just brushed
I'm
it.
just telling you what happened. I'm
I
not
understand.
making any
I
aspirations
mean-
of why it happened or
Yeah,
anything like that.
it's on video, we understand that. All right, so, Ms. Jordan came up and talked, does any of the other citizens like to make any comment? In all fairness, okay, thank you. So basically, the same reason we talked and decided to extend, as council, to extend our RFQ, and Mr. Sloan agreed to come and talk to us about being an interim. And we have no obligation to Mr. Sloan to hire him as an interim. That's why when Ms. Jordan, I found out she was here, I offered her to talk to us about that position as well. So. Anybody want to start?
Sure, any reason why we don't, I mean, I enjoyed you reading the law, but how about interpreting the law and let our attorney that we do have tell us what that means? I mean, are we in jeopardy here? We've done something wrong that we need to course correct?
You know, you're in an emergency situation. You're about not to have a lawyer for the next month.
And honestly, I think everything that I've seen, as mayor, I can call for an emergency meeting situation, and I think that's what this is today.
Okay, so we have RFQs, we have 2 RFQs, Tammy, or 3? We have 3 RFQs.
There were 2 on the thing that we
Okay,
decided.
so we have 3 RFQs. What stops us from opening the RFQs today that we decided to do?
Well, basically because we extended it.
Extended.
Yeah,
Well,
as a council, we voted
can we
to.
correct that? Open the
It's
3
been
RFQs
outright.
and make a decision?
It's outright. It's out, so we can.
Posted the agenda the next morning.
Yep. Can I ask what your opposition is to?
I just listened to a lawyer tell us that we're in jeopardy,
Okay.
could be in jeopardy.
Well, our lawyers telling us.
Well, you know, she possibly has grounds to do a protest. I don't know what that would get her in the end. I don't know what the remedy would be. Maybe be forced to do it again or something like that.
Yeah,
You're in an emergency situation.
yes.
Yeah.
What was this?
Got him there.
What was this?
Said, yeah. Just like you said, yeah. I said, yeah.
Yeah, we're in an emergency situation.
Yeah, emergency, crisis.
You have, let's see, we have your next meeting is on the 9th, right?
Yes.
Regular meeting's on the 9th.
Correct,
There's a P and Z meeting on the 1st,
correct.
and then you have the election. And then there'll be one more meeting before everything is over.
And you were writing, how many ordinance were you writing? 1, 2, 3, 12? How many, what do we have you doing right now?
Actually, right now, nothing but coming to the meetings as of right now.
Other than attend meetings?
As of right, and talking to Tammy, giving her advice, and Chris giving them advice all the time. I mean, you know, as much as I'm over this job, because I don't foresee that much happening in the next month, particularly since really haven't accomplished anything in the last year. I'll come here and sit here for those 3 meetings for $200 an hour. I'm not, you know, and give advice as I can. I'm not gonna get involved. If you wanna try and, you know, make this more of a smooth thing, I'll be willing to do that. But it's not gonna be, that's what I'd be willing to do.
So you're saying you want $200 an hour just to come and sit? You don't want to do anything else for the city?
Well, you know, there's not gonna be enough time to do anything else for the city. I mean, and I would give advice if called by any of you. That's what I'm willing to do.
Okay. Mr. Sloan, would you like to present your presentation to the council? We've all got your information in front of us. The resume for the letter of,
I listened to the presentation
let me see if I can get that.
of lady early on in this meeting, and I want to say, first of all, I had never met the mayor until Tuesday. I don't know her, Adam's house cat, and what I told the mayor when we were speaking was, I will tell you, I will give the city the best legal advice that I can give, and I will not play politics. That is not my role. My role is to advise the city the best, give the city the best legal advice I can, as I have done with other cities over the course of the last 37 years. So, to some extent, I take exception to what she was saying, that there may be some kind of conflict, because have any allegiance to the mayor or any other person on the council. My position would simply be, if I am hired as interim attorney, that I will provide best legal advice, given my experience that I can over the course of time. Second, I'm willing to do whatever the city needs me to do in an emergency situation such as what you're presented here, and potentially provide guidance to the city, not to any individual, not to someone who may be subject to recall, not to any particular elected candidate, but to the city itself and its newly elected commissioners. So that's my commitment to the city of Mexico Beach, and I'm willing to do that on an interim basis, but that's up to you all.
Y'all have any questions for Mr. Sloan?
Do you know whether you would be filing a proposal? for
Excuse
the-
me, the council. Sorry, I'm sorry.
I think we would be very fortunate if we could have Mr. Salone to help out. I think Mr. McCahill has made it quite obvious by his eye rolling, his negative biased comments that he doesn't want to be here. So, you know, when the 31st comes, you know, there's the door.
The door could
Mr.
be
Sloan,
right now
excuse
if
me,
you
I'm
like.
talking.
The door
Mr.
could be
Sloan.
right now if you like.
You know what? You have a contract to the 31st.
Point of order, please. Can we,
You know, if we can have a
excuse me,
temporary.
Linda, I'm sorry. Can we keep this civil, please? Thank you.
I think we would be very fortunate to have Mr. Sloan, who has experience with Parker. He can easily fill in temporarily. The fact that we're extending the RFPs, I think it is, until another 30 days does give us more options for more people. And, you know, we are in an emergency situation. We do need somebody that has interest and is non-biased to the city to handle any legal issues that might come up in that.
Just let you know I rescind my offer just a few minutes ago.
Oh,
Thank you, Clint. All right, so we have one option. We are in an emergency situation. We do need to do as a council what's best in the best interest of our city. Ms. Jordan was given the opportunity to apply for this interim position as well. She declined. Mr. McCahill has made it clear that he is no longer going to be representing our city. He did not want to extend his contract by his choice, not by ours. So I think it's very clear that we need to get Mr. Sloan in place to start on the 1st.
We offered the interim job to Mr. Sloan, we offered it to the young lady here. Should we offer it to the other two on the RFQ?
They
I'm
haven't
just trying-
showed interest.
We're causing a debacle here, I mean,
No.
yeah, we started it from not having it on the agenda, and it's just proceeding.
Let's start like we did. We had instructed us as council that Mr. McCahill was welcome to bring us his offer to the next meeting. That was not on the agenda. When I seen it was not on the agenda, it put us in an emergency situation. That's why I brought it and contacted Mr. Sloan by reference. Don't know him from Adam's apple. By reference of 2 different people, mentioned his name, Parker, and our contract special master. And that's the only contact I had with him, and then other by email that Chris was CC'd on since then. So it has no conflict of interest here, sir.
Keeping this, I didn't say you had a conflict of interest, I think that was spoke about, I didn't say it. But, talking about the RFQ, we did offer it to this young lady. Should we offer it to the other 2? That's my question.
Those are sealed bids. And that's why,
She
if
has
I'm
a
not
sealed
mistaken, correct, and that's why she decided she would prefer not to apply for the interim. But she is here today,
But
the other
you
2
offered
has
it,
not
you
showed
offered it to her.
offer,
You asked her what
because
she,
she's here.
should we do that with the next 2 RFQs that are out there? Should we do the
can't.
same?
She
We
came
can't.
here and with my perception that she was interested in.
My point is, there's no consistency here, Mayor, we're just off our cuff.
All right,
Madam
no,
President.
we're at council table, sorry. I'm sorry, we're at council. You had your opportunity to speak at the beginning. We have, it's very important for us to make some decisions at this council table.
Very
And
important.
I think that there's been a lot of toward to try to prevent our decisions. I think we need to, as a council, come together. Let's get this should have been very short.
Mayor, if you look back 3 weeks ago or a month ago when we initially made the 29th, we all talked about the 29th. We made a decision. It changed last meeting when you
Correct.
brought it to the table.
Correct.
So why would you say that then? We need to make decisions. We did.
Well, Mr. Wolf.
You changed it.
Excuse me, Mr. Wolf, would you, I did not change it. You voted as one.
You brought it to the table when it wasn't on the agenda. Yes, ma'am.
Correct, because it put us in a situation with Mr. McCahill not being on the agenda to speak about.
Okay. Chaos.
Hey, I am trying to keep our city running.
So am I, so is Ms. Hamilton, so is Mr. Smith.
Correct, because y'all all voted to extend that, so I don't see where you're
Correct.
going with that, sir. That is not what we're here for today. That's been extended. We voted on that last week.
I'm asking some simple questions to keep the city out of legalities.
Okay. And what would those,
I
Questions is
already
gonna
told
do
you,
that.
we had 3 RFQs, we offered the job to one of the RFQs, now there's 2 of them sitting out there that we didn't. So that's not consistency.
do you understand what the RFQs are put out for?
I won't even answer that, Mayor, I mean, that's ridiculous, of course.
Okay, so why would we, when they've not come up there, I mean, and I'm sorry, I wouldn't have offered it to if I knew that that's not what you were here for. I would not have. I don't know you either. I didn't know you had an RFP out there until it was spoken to. So, I'm the person that's trying to be fair.
I don't believe this is a fair process right now.
Okay, well, you got, I don't know what to say. I have to, we're here at this table today, and I don't know why it's turning into this, other than there's always somebody wanting to bring drama to this table. Let's stop the drama. Let's get to our meeting. Let's get to our purpose for this meeting. The purpose of this meeting is to hire an interim attorney to represent our city. And based on our ordinance, we have an emergency situation. We will be without counsel, legal counsel, in 2 days. Our job today is simply to put a counsel in place,
Put a council in place?
a legal counsel. So we have one person that's willing to help our city. Is there any reason we should not put Mr. Sloan in an interim position? That's what we need to know. Does anybody have any objections? And are we going to?
I object.
Okay. All right, so, but we need to, do you have any other recommendations then? Did you,
I thought sort of there for a few minutes before this, whatever had happened, I thought Clint was going, I thought surely we could have kept him for another month and resolve the situation when our accused come out and it'd been over with.
yeah.
But now, since this happened,
So-
and the way Mr. Sloan was presented to the council, to me, I'm like the lady said, so. And I don't know Mr. Sloan either. And if he really wanted the job, he'd have turned in an RFQ. I think it would, to me, he's a no for me.
Okay. Well, we weren't voting, but I will take a motion to, get legal counsel.
I would say, Mayor, I agree with you in some terms. We do need legal counsel. We're in a situation that we shouldn't be in. So here we are today, and we have to deal with what we have to deal with. But the way that it was approached was very wrong.
Okay, so
And you had
last
a
week,
lot to do with that. By bringing him to that meeting prior to us opening those
Okay.
bids.
so I know you
I'm
don't,
prepared to vote.
I know you don't understand this position, Mr. Wolf, but this position is meant to protect our city, okay?
Are you asking for a motion?
I have.
I'm ready to move.
Okay, would you like to?
I make a motion, we hire him temporarily, yes.
I'll second it.
Okay, I need, actually an extension, I mean, the extent of that. So are we going to 30 days, 60 days, 90 days?
Well,
To,
we may say that it's 30 days
right, and
for
it
the
might,
process, and it turns out to be 60.
right.
Are you gonna bring somebody else in for that, maybe 90? I mean,
Should the motion just be until that position is
Till
filled
we
permanently
fill-
and not
fill
put
it,
a
that would
date,
be-
amount
that
of
would be-
time on it?
That would help. Would be to have a motion that it's not an open. Until the position is filled would be fine. With a permanent legal counsel.
no, we're gonna expedite it through the process. Whether it be 30 days plus us talking another 30 days.
Well, probably, I wouldn't think, I mean, usually when we open our bids, but we don't know when that attorney might be able, whoever is hired would be able to come on, so it probably just needs until filled, until accepted, or,
I'll make a motion to bring on Mr. Sloan until the position is filled.
And we might wanna add in like what his rate would be,
he's turned in his rate sheet.
so
Yeah.
pursuant to
The
his.
rate is
his
$300
proposal.
an hour. That's his rate.
Yeah.
So I'll second that motion.
Okay, Tammy, can you call the roll, please?
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton,
Yes.
Mr. Wolf,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
No.
All right, thank you, council. I would entertain, a motion to adjourn, please. So moved.